Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And recently we did a couple of videos involving watch content. Like you said, in the past, when it comes to the channel, we talk about accessories, accessorizing, all these kind of ways to just improve yourself and make yourself feel a little better and be a little better and your better self. And one of those things I always used to say was that it's always nice to have that touch of having a watch on your wrist. I think it provides just a look of like just classiness at this stage, because no one really wears watches anymore. But I digress. So in this video today, we're going to actually get into how this is in light of I did a video talking about how a friend of mine was looking for a watch, and he was looking for something in the range of like a $2,000 range. But he just wanted a everyday watch, his do everything, go anywhere type of watch. And so essentially in that process of giving him some ideas as far as a watch that he could get, and I covered that on this channel already as far as some of the options that I thought would, be a good option. And those same ones I had put on the channel, the same ones that I had mentioned to him, though he didn't go with those, but he was looking at the long jeans. But nonetheless, what I wanted to get into today is about how if you switch up your watch strap or, change from the bracelet or whatever you have it on to something else, if you are the kind of person who only has one watch, sometimes this could be significant in terms of making your watch feel brand new with just the cost of changing the band out, which sometimes is $20 or less, depending on the options that you buy. And they sell a lot of good options on Amazon. But one that I came across a couple of years back, actually, I really like these. I keep them in the case when I'm not using them, and that is this brand Fullmosa. And I've gone through a couple of different watch straps that were for leather watch straps, but the quality was always different, hit or miss, depending on, I know some companies will say you can pay like $50 or more, $100 on a watch strap, and you get this really nice quality watch strap. But no one always really wants to go down that avenue, especially if you're not a big watch person or you want to have a couple of extra options. And in this case, when it came to this company here, when I fell upon them, I realized and felt that their straps were actually very good quality for a very affordable price. And I'm going to put the link in the description down below. These actually feel very soft and supple, and they don't feel like the type that will break over time, or at least it'd have to be a long time before that happens, where sometimes you have certain ones that come out the box already very stiff. You expect them to kind of wear in, but often too what happens after they start wearing in, they really just start falling apart after time. And some people even go to the point of using a specialized clasp where it is, I would like to show you guys an example, but I guess similar to a clasp that you would have on a watch like this, but it will connect on the ends. I'll actually show you something like that now that I have on hand from a strap that I wasn't really a fan of, but you'll see the point that I'm trying to say, where you can do something like that. Now, a lot of times people would install these to prevent it from the wear and tear, besides for the fact that sometimes they look nice, but prevent the wear and tear on the band, because you don't have to keep pulling it in and out of the buckle hole. But I felt like this brand here, they're kind of somewhat immune to that, or at least a lot more resistant to it, because they're so soft. So you don't really kind of run into that whole thing where utilizing them makes it feel like it's going to fall apart. Not saying that they are indestructible, but it definitely feels really nice. And so what I'm going to do now is when I bought these, and I bought 4 of them, I wanted different colors here that play off of the blue on my Tag Heuer Carrera at the time, when I purchased this, and I wanted to dive into that. So I'm going to use this as an example here inside this video to show this. Like I said, the point of it more so is just letting you guys know that switching out straps can change if you're a one watch kind of person. And like I said, coming in light of the fact of a friend of mine who was purchasing one watch to be his all in main and only watch, for anyone who's in that same situation, you might want to go down this avenue in terms of being able to switch out your bands. So another thing I would recommend to you guys, not everybody may not be in this space, But if you want to be the type who knows how to take your watch bands off on your own, you can buy a tool. They're very cheap on Amazon. And I will try to find some just to throw on there. Link in the description so that way you guys can have that easy task of finding. Now mine is actually getting a little worn down at the tip. But it's still usable. Let's see if I can do this on screen. I might have some trouble from behind the camera. And like I said, mine actually really needs to get replaced, but I still should probably be able to do this. So I'm going to probably do this off camera, but I just want to show you guys. Let me zoom in a little better. So you see how that is right there, that tip? It's supposed to be like a fork, and you can see mine starting to wear down. So I will be able to get it, but I'm going to have to definitely probably do it off camera because that's going to give me an issue right now as far as just this angle. But give me a second and I'll come back with the bracelet off. I'm sorry that I couldn't do that on camera. I would have loved to be able to show you guys that, but I think I'm having too much trouble and I don't want you guys waiting that long on me just getting the bracelet off. Okay, so we got it, and it actually wasn't that hard for me to do, even with my tool being a little bit I don't want to use the word unsharpened, but not having the right shape is kind of dulling in that point. But the issue really was just me doing it from behind the camera was very hard. Well, yes, from behind the camera because the leverage that I needed for that. So here goes the watch by itself. And I just really was a fan of this blue color going with a lot of other colors. And I think other colors work too, like if you have a black dial or a white dial, but I really felt like blue went with a lot of different things. You can match it up, mix it and match with a lot of different things. Another thing too, if you want to get a strap that has, one reason why I recommend these is because they have the quick release strap. So that way, once you take the bracelet off, switching from different strap to strap is actually a lot easier. And like I said, it just makes a difference in terms of the way that it looks. Dressing up your watch, just giving it a different color, maybe even matching better with like certain things that you're wearing. I'm not a big advocate of that your leather bands, or even if you use the rubber bands, they call them rubber straps, I think, just so they don't have that they'll say leather band and they'll call them rubber straps, I think, just so it doesn't sound like rubber band. But I'm not necessarily a big advocate that it has to match your other accessories like your belt or say your hat, but some people do that. And this, like I said, fits really well in terms of just how smooth it is. And you could get one of those buckle pieces like I showed you earlier to make it probably last even longer, but I feel that it's not. This is very flexible. So I really like that. As far as the blue on it with the blue face. And let me just brighten up the lights a little bit so you guys can see it even better. Dressing that up. So it definitely looks, like I said, it's very much a nice look. And even though they come with a tool, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of this because that little prong does not fit in between the area where the lugs go. So it's nice that they include it, but unfortunately it really doesn't work. It doesn't work. And this shows the name of the ones here, so I'll try to keep them correctly matched. But now we're gonna take this off. So as I was just mentioning, it's definitely a nice look in terms of switching it up if you have that one watch type. And I know generally speaking, some people go with a black dial watch, which I think matches well with obviously a black band, better than this one does with the black. So I usually don't put the black on it. I think a black dial can go good with a, and I'll put this one on it anyway. Black dial can go good with black leather strap, or it can go good with a brown leather strap. And I think of the brown leather strap, whether it's like a darker brown or like a lighter brown, like a tan, kind of go with almost any color, to be honest with you, whether it's a black dial, a white dial, a light cream dial, brown dial, or the blue dial. But I feel that the black strap, I can't even imagine a white strap, to be honest with you, but maybe if it was, a very playful watch. I don't know. I've never seen that before, but I don't think a blue strap like I just showed you would go well with a black dial. And I don't think this black goes well with the blue. Really, it's actually okay. It actually looks okay, but I think probably because the material in this one looks like, not the material, the texture is different. I think that's why this one, and I'm just realizing that now because I never really put this one on it. This is more alligator strap, which is fine. And this one's smooth. So if this was a smooth blue, maybe it'll go even better. But, and once again, it's very soft. So that's something you never have to really worry about. Though I think as I'm putting this on, I'm thinking that the alligator feels a little more like it'd be a little more resistant to getting damaged from the wear and tear, just off the fact that it's less of a smooth material on the outside, that's slightly polished, harder coating makes it feel like it wouldn't it doesn't look bad actually, but like I said, just a way to dress up your watch a little bit for different situations. Like I said, in this case, I got a blue dial, but if you had a black dial, this will work really good. I actually don't think it looks that bad with the blue, to be honest with you. I thought it wouldn't look as good, but because it's a very dark blue, I think it actually looks very good. Pretty good. It looks pretty good. One thing that this type of strap gives you the option for is because these aren't tied to the actual band itself, you don't have to make the bend come so abruptly, meaning once you're putting it on your wrist, you can bring these as far back. Then that way the abruptness of bending this is not so harsh. And then you can just roll them upwards. And obviously once you have this on for the day, you're not really gonna take it off like that until the end of the night. So you wouldn't be like taking it on and off like that, at least throughout the day. But also just let it be known too, even though these feel pretty durable and they feel like they almost have a coating on them, do not wear leather straps with on a hot day where you're sweating on your arm, because they will destroy the leather. So we have that. Now these other next two colors are the dark brown and light brown. And like I mentioned before, I think they're particularly very nice colors when you guys really want to dress up your watch, whether you have a white dial or cream dial. Because I have a Seiko that has a cream dial, it's not really white. Or if you have a black dial or even a blue dial or almost anything, but this really works really well. But I think the brown and the blue work very well together because it makes me think of, at least in my mind, either a nice pair of like similarly colored dark brown dress shoes with a pair of like blue jeans, or maybe like a brown flat cap that you have on your head with a pair of blue jeans. So that's what it makes me think of in terms of matching that type of accessory or that vibe. And a lot of times too, this type of brown, especially with the stitching on it, can also go well with a dressing up a field watch. Because a lot of times you wouldn't think to yourself a field watch to be dressy, but you really can dress them up. And that's the point of this too, is that if you have that one watch that you're going to wear, and then you want to kind of dress it up a little bit, and it's the kind of watch that wouldn't normally be as dressy, you can throw this, you could throw this on it and dress it up a little bit. And even if it's not the type of dressy watch, now I bought these specifically for this watch, but at the same time too, you could really dress up something like a field watch if you have, and which is normally not considered dressy, and you can do that. So, and these things, each one of these cost, I want to say it was something below $20 each. So honestly, this gives you the option of, I wouldn't say you need all of these colors, because I don't feel that, even though the black looks nice, I probably wouldn't use the black specifically for this. I bought it to test it out, and then the black could be used for other watches of mine. But definitely the dark brown, the blue, and then the tan one I'm about to show you now, I definitely love the idea of. And so if that costs a person somewhere between, say, $60, let's assume that these are $20. I don't remember exactly what the price is off the top of my head. Link's going to be in the description down below, but let's assume that they are $20. That's not bad. If this was your only watch, you have this kind of sporty-ish watch. This is called like a sporty watch. And for those who are not in the know, it doesn't mean that it's for sports. It just means that it's something in between, like more rugged watch and something that can be dressy. So you kind of, it's like the middle ground, or a hybrid, if you want to call it that. And so it kind of could play both sides of the field. And depending on if you dress it up or not, it can have more of a dressy vibe to it. You could also dress it down, in terms of if someone had like something like a what's known as like a NATO strap. It's almost like a fabric strap that would normally go on a field watch. Then now you're kind of trying to bring this to that level of dressing it down to be a little more rugged. So that's where the luxury of a sports watch kind of comes, a sporty watch, not sports watch, sporty watch comes into play when they use that term. But for people who are not in the know, they would just kind of consider this like a dressy watch. You know, not being as particular on the terms. But this right here, I think, is really a very nice casual combo. And I love the way this looks with the blue. This is a look that I think really dresses up nice as well. It's a little, it stands out a lot, it pops, and it may not match with everything else that you might have on, but it definitely, to me, is just a really nice, like, softer in the eyes color, yet brings the attention to your wrist, not in a showy kind of way, not like in a sense like, oh, I'm trying to floss, but just in a, like, just in a way where it's just like kind of a pleasant, I will just use the word pleasant. It looks pleasant. It's you know, it's not like, because when you think of jewelry, you think of like flashy. When you think of this, you don't think that. But I should have actually left these things closer to the edge. Just trying to move them after it's on your wrist is a little harder. But nonetheless, you see how that looks. Nice. Now, once again, you could accessorize other things like your belt to be somewhat similar, or your shoes. But I'm not saying you got to get that crazy with it, but I definitely think that looks nice. Definitely a softer color. So I just wanted to show you guys some of that. And also too, part of the inspiration of this here now was because I actually, like I said, after helping my friend out and then coming to the realization that some of the options I was pointing him in the direction of were more of that sporty design with the rubber or silicone strap on them. Because that seemed to be the new trend. And I was mentioning that in a past video, that how that seems to be kind of the new trend now when it comes to guys who want to buy a watch and they don't want it to be, they don't like the bracelets because they don't like the fit of them, whether it's pulling hair, maybe they feel like they don't get a precise fit, or it's that kind of world of blending that kind of sporty with like that kind of, I could go anywhere with it. It doesn't look too dressy, because sometimes some people feel the bracelet is a little too much. everybody's taste is different. Some people feel the bracelet is a little too much, especially if it's a more flashier bracelet. Like for example, this one has some polish and links on it, and a mix between polish and brush. And some watches have all polished look on the bracelets. And so some people are fans of going the rubber strap route. And so after doing that video of helping and recommending for a friend, I actually got inspired to say, the way these look with the kind of more sporty look and the rubber strap, I want to go that route. So I then was inspired to purchase 3 straps. Only 2 of them came in the mail right now from Amazon. When I do the video of the unboxing of these, which is going to come shortly because the other one should be arriving today, and then I'll have some time to film it later. Then I will do an unboxing of all 3, and I will put the link in the description for all 3, as I'm going to be choosing between the one I want, because I wasn't sure how the colors will look versus online versus in person. And I just wanted to be able to show that. But that really was where the inspiration came from, as far as then what made me say, you know what, let me come do this video of these straps that I have for the dressy element, because I really was inspired by the fact that now I want to go the direction of a sporty aspect with this watch. So stay tuned for that one. Should be coming shortly, and I'm looking forward to it and figuring out what I'm going to do. And I probably will, and I'm probably not going to keep all 3. I know I'm not going to keep all 3, but I may, instead of just keeping 1, I may actually end up keeping 2, because I have a Seiko, which you've seen in a Seiko Sumo, the dive watch, which you've seen in a previous video not long ago. And I just came to my mind, like I could put that on that one because I like the look of these straps. That one also has a blue dial, and I think it would be kind of fitting for a lot of the more watches that have these kind of the silicone or rubber strap on them. With a sporty look, you have ones that are like this type of look, and then you also have the dive watch styles that are like that, which a lot of brands are doing nowadays. And so being that I have 2 types of watches that fit that kind of category to dress up like that, I may end up keeping 2 of the straps instead of 1. But anyway, you guys stay tuned for that. As always, you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.